He was one of the most powerful bankers of all time. When John Pierpont Morgan arrived on Wall Street, it was a disorganized jumble of competing interests and one of the many financial centers in a country still struggling with the remnants of colonialism. At the turn of the 20th century, Morgan leveraged his personal power and reputation to promote the formation of trusts and mergers in industries where he saw competition. When he left Wall Street, it was a tightly knit group of big businesses leading one of the fastest-growing economies in the world. Much of the progress Wall Street experienced at the close of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century was due to the influence of J.P. Morgan and the skill with which he wielded. Morgan was a key figure in the Gilded Age, working with U.S. Steel and General Electric and forming a syndicate to resupply the American government's depleted gold reserve in 1895. Our story begins in the mid-19th century with the birth of John Pierpont Morgan in 1837. Morgan grew up in a wealthy family and was exposed to finance from a young age. His father, Junius Spencer Morgan, was a successful financier, laying the groundwork for Morgan's future in the banking industry. John Pierpont Morgan was a prominent American financier and investment banker who wielded significant influence over corporate finance on Wall Street during the Gilded Age. He served as the leader of the banking firm that eventually became known as J.P. Morgan and Company. He was a key driving force behind the industrial consolidation wave sweeping the United States from the late 19th to the early 20th century. John Pierpont Morgan was regarded as one of the most prominent financial figures during the 2 decades before World War I. He was responsible for reorganizing several significant railroads and financing industrial consolidations that led to the formation of corporations such as United States Steel, International Harvester, and General Electric. In 1857, he started his career as an accountant with the New York banking firm of Duncan, Sherman, and Company. The company represented the London firm George Peabody and Company in America. 4 years later, he became the agent for his father's banking company in New York City. From 1864 to 1871. In 1871, he became a partner in the New York City firm of Drexel, Morgan, and Company, which became the primary source of American government financing. The firm was later reorganized as J.P. Morgan and Company in 1895, and thanks to Morgan's abilities, it became one of the most powerful banking houses in the world. In 1885, Morgan played a key role in mediating an agreement between the 2 biggest railroads in the United States at that time, the New York Central Railroad and the Pennsylvania Railroad. This agreement helped to reduce tensions between the 2 competing giants. In the aftermath of the Panic of 1893, the banker was instrumental in the rehabilitation of several other railroads, including the Southern Railroad, the Erie Railroad, and the Northern Pacific Railroad. During the Panic of 1893, around 1895, the United States Treasury almost depleted its gold reserves. At that time, Morgan proposed a plan for the federal government to buy gold from his and European banks, but it was rejected in favor of a plan to sell government bonds directly to the public. Morgan demanded a meeting with President Grover Cleveland, where he warned that the United States government could default that day if action was not taken. Morgan suggested using an old Civil War statute that allowed him and the Rothschilds to sell 3.5 million ounces of gold directly to the USA Treasury in exchange for a 30-year bond issue. This plan saved the Treasury, but it damaged Cleveland's reputation with the populist agrarian wing of the Democratic Party, ending his political career. In the 1896 United States presidential election, William Jennings Bryan launched a fierce attack on bankers, and Morgan was among many who donated heavily to Republican William McKinley's campaign. During the Gilded Age, Morgan was a prominent figure in the financial world of the United States. His banking house played a significant role in establishing the country's most prominent industries, starting with the railroad. Morgan believed that cutthroat competition needed to give way to order, so he consolidated competing railroad lines and many other industries. He formed syndicates to float bond and stock issues that gave birth to companies like AT&T, which dominated the nation's telephone industry for decades, General Electric, and USA Steel, the world's largest steel manufacturer. He was also a passionate collector and spent $60 million on paintings, sculptures, rare books, and manuscripts. Morgan's critics saw him as a ruthless capitalist pirate and the embodiment of the oppressive power of Wall Street that would crucify mankind on a cross of gold. However, his goal was to replace cutthroat competition with economic stability. He played a significant role in creating the modern American economy by reorganizing many bankrupt railroads and industrial companies after the Panic of 1893. He assembled USA Steel, the world's first billion-dollar corporation, and helped establish International Harvester and General Electric. Morgan believed that combining rival interests into rational systems was necessary to stabilize the USA economy and prevent harmful price wars. Morgan was famous for his ability to restructure businesses to increase their profitability and stability and gain control over them. He restructured several major railroad companies, establishing him as a prominent railroad magnate. Additionally, he provided financing for various industrial consolidations, including General Electric, USA Steel, and International Harvester. Morgan's impact on the American economy was immense. He was pivotal in forming trusts and monopolies, bringing together different companies to form powerful conglomerates. Although his financial expertise was celebrated, it raised concerns about the concentration of economic power. Morgan's defining moment came during the Panic of 1907, when the financial system was on the brink of collapse. Morgan intervened to stabilize the markets. His unprecedented efforts, including gathering fellow financiers in his library to develop a rescue plan, earned him the title of the Savior of Wall Street. Morgan was known for his financial contributions and his love and support of the arts. His vast collection of rare manuscripts and priceless paintings laid the foundation for the Morgan Library and Museum. Morgan's cultural contributions showcased a different side of the man behind the financial empire. In 1912, Morgan's planned trip aboard the Titanic was canceled due to illness, which saved him from the disaster. However, he passed away the following year in Rome, Italy, at the age of 75. Morgan was an accomplished banker who had amassed a significant art collection. His estate generously donated over 7,000 pieces to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in 1917. Furthermore, his private library became a city landmark in 1982. As we reflect on Morgan's life, it is essential to consider the complexities of his legacy. While he was celebrated for his financial prowess and philanthropic endeavors, his influence also sparked debates about the concentration of power and the role of individuals in shaping the nation's destiny. As we conclude our exploration of Morgan's life, we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What aspect of his story surprised you the most? Remember to like this video, subscribe for deeper insights into financial history, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Until next time, keep uncovering the stories that have shaped our economic landscape. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the life of John Pierpont Morgan.